Alien Earth is clearly setting up for another season. All of the events of Alien Earth happened before the first movie where Ripley first encounters the xenomorph. So that means that one of two things. One, the Ripley and her crew had no idea about the xenomorph because somehow it never got out. And the reason for that would be that everyone dies in this next episode or this next season. Or, second option, they know about the xenomorph, people who survive know about it, and they kind of sent Ripley out there to find out, to see if they could catch one, because in all the movies, they've been trying to catch them. It's like Pokemon. So I think it's going to be the second option. I think that they're going to contain it. The knowledge that they've acquired from these xenomorphs, and they're going to send people out to try to find them. And here's the problem. There's more than one type of alien creature. There's at least 5 that they're aware of, and they are hyper dangerous. It would be like if you took a spaceship and you were like a human type person and you came to Earth and you saw a tiger and you're like, oh, look at that, let's pet it. It's not going to work out for you. You saw an elephant and you tried to scare it and shoo it away because it was too close to your camp, and you stomped your foot and you're like, you are going to get gored. So life forms that you don't know about, that you're not familiar with, could be ultra dangerous and you don't know it. The people from these worlds, or the other entities from these worlds, see that T Oculus and they're like, oh, nah, don't mess with that. It'll climb in your face, man, rip your eyeball out, and then it'll drive you. It'll get inside you and work you like that little rat and rat-tattooey inside the hat, pulling the hair, making you move around. Except you'll no longer be with us. You'll be, perished. So there's that. They see the xenomorph and they're like, xenomorph, and they know to run. On Earth, you see a tiger and you're like, oh, no, we don't want none of that. But if you've never seen one, it could kill 3 or 4 of your people, and then you end up putting it in a cage thinking you can contain it. I think it only attacked because they had weapons. Just let it go and let it roam the hallways. You don't know how to act to that thing. It's an unknown. And I get it, they're trying to learn. But the first people that walked up on the tiger probably tried to pet it, and that's why the second people said, nah, don't pet that thing. That's not right. So they got these creatures that they don't really know about, that they basically released on Earth, man. Luckily, it's an island, and it's contained. But we know the xenomorph can swim, and we know the fly creature can fly. Who knows what its range is, and we know the Oculus, because of what happened here, it's got away off the island too. So they're going to have to blow that island up, man. They're going to have to kill it, because in the future movies, they don't talk about the T Oculus or the fly creature or, anything like that. So they must have destroyed all of the evidence. So that's coming up, I'm thinking, in second season. It's got to be a second season. Because what had happened was the T Oculus, we saw in the last episode that it climbed inside of the scientist, and it's working him like a sock puppet. He sat up and he, gave that weird thing that people do when they get possessed or controlled by supernatural entities. They sit up and then they turn their head. And that's supposed to be spooky. I mean, it is spooky. That'd be creepy, but he did that, man. And then we don't see him for the rest of the episode. So he's floating around there. The troops are still trying to catch what they believe is just one xenomorph, but there are in fact two of them now. And they're trying to catch him, and they tell him, hey man, our troops are dwindling. They tell Boy Cavalier, who, like I said in my previous video, he's intelligent but not smart. He's a genius, but his social skills are lacking so much that I'm not sure he understands when he's actually in danger. Because they tell him, this is happening, that's happening, this is happening. And he's like, ooh, ooh. And I'm like, ooh, dude, you need to get off that island, like nuke it twice. But he's just kind of skipping through the hallways, and then he has captured all of the synths. They're all in one container, except for Toodles, of course, because he was eaten. But they said they were on the cusp of discovering how to redo him to make another Toodles. So they could bring that actor back. They might. They got Morrow and Hermit, and they put them in a cage together. He doesn't like either one of them, not really. So he put them in a cage together. But his toys, he put in a separate cage. And he's supposed to be a genius, but did he forget that Wendy can control tech? So he comes down there and he's threatening him and telling him he's going to do this and that and whatever. And Wendy just goes and opens the cage. She opens the doors, man. She's like, now what? Now he's got to face, as the title suggests, the real monsters. And again, I think this is segueing into Blade Runner, because the replicants from Blade Runner were running around and they were unaliving people, saying they just want to be free, man. Just want to be alive. And they would hire people that were specialists to kill them. I'm thinking the synths are going to be them, because in Blade Runner, those robots, those androids, thought that they were actually alive. And most people that met them thought that they were alive. Same thing with these synths. I think it's connected. We'll find out soon enough, but I think it's connected. But just to be evil, I guess, Wendy decides to open up Morrow's cage. She unlocked it. He sees it. He realizes he can go free. And he escapes. And they got his super metal robot transformer arm locked in a cage, but he uncages it. So now he's got his superpowers. And the fight that probably everybody has been waiting to see, even though there's all of the aliens, even though there's a xenomorph, even though there's hints that there might even be a connection to the Predator universe, I think the fight that everybody wanted to see was Kirsch and Morrow. That's the fight I wanted to see. The synthetic man versus the man with synthetic parts. And it was a good fight. They tossed each other around. They beat each other for 1 second. It looked like this guy was going to win. It didn't look like that guy was going to win. It went back and forth. It was like WWE main event, WrestleMania. Is the good guy going to win? Is the bad guy going to win? Actually, they're both bad guys. So is the bad guy going to win? Is the worst guy going to win? And then Morrow used that robotic bionic arm, and he completely disabled Kirsch, which honestly I didn't think was going to happen, because Kirsch seemed like he was 1 or 2 steps ahead of everybody. I mean, even when Morrow sneaks into the room and sees him and he's sneaking up on him, and for some reason I could hear Scooby-Doo music when he was sneaking up on him. It was like, I can hear that for some reason. I'm thinking, oh, he's sneaking up on him. And Kirsch just turned around and shot at him, damaging one of the cages, which sounds like something that a regular human would do by accident. Because Kirsch, he's a robot. Everything, he doesn't have to think about it. It's just in his mind. He had to have known that there was a chance he would miss, And those creatures were locked up in the cage behind him. He'd cracked the cage. He didn't seem to care. He shot, missed, and then they fought. And Kirsch lost, which was kind of amazing to me because I didn't think it was going to happen like that. Then Morrow tells him the story about John Henry Irons and how a man beat a machine through effort and will and proved he was stronger. And Kirsch reminds him that John Henry died at the end of that story. So I don't know exactly where that's going, but I guess it's foreshadowing. I guess they're saying that maybe Kirsch will survive because the machine didn't die. It got beat. You know, I can't remember what it was called, the zippity doo dah or something like that. But he got beat. The robot did. But eventually they mass produced him and they used him anyway. But he just wanted to prove that flesh and blood could defeat machinery, and it did for the moment. So basically, I think that's what Kirsch was saying. Yeah, you won for the moment, but we're still going to be here after you're dead. There's still going to be robots, synths, androids, cyborgs, all of that stuff, and that basically is true. So when here's something I wonder: why is the wife still on the island? She just hanging out on the island, telling the kids, it'll be okay and all that stuff. It will not be. I mean, if I was on the island, and she's supposed to be an intelligent woman, if I was on the island, I knew that there were monsters, because she knew there were monsters running around on the island. If I was in the city, any city, Nevada, and they said, oh, Frankenstein, the werewolf, and some vampires are running around, I'd be like, oh, all right. If I had the ability to leave, I would leave right up out of there. I'd get out of there. Oof. We in a city with monsters in it. And she was stuck on an island, which she could leave and leave the monsters there. Yeah. She decided she was going to hang out and walk around, start putting flowers on graves and stuff. Ran into a xenomorph. She was like, oh my God. I didn't understand her motivation. So whenever I don't understand someone even slightly and they're doing things that I think are beyond moronic, I think they went crazy. So I think she might be crazy for whatever reason. She might know her husband's dead, and maybe that broke her. Maybe that's what made her crazy, because she's just hanging out on the island, walking around with flowers. Freaking xenomorphs are walking around on the island too, and she just she went crazy. She went crazy. So there's that. I don't know why she did that. I keep thinking about that. But either way, so Boy Cavalier, Wendy tells him to run. And he kind of skips. He still doesn't understand the danger he's in. He's skipping through the hallway, and you can see the xenomorph above him, climbing across the ceiling. And he kind of looks back, and he doesn't see it. So it's foreshadowing. You know the thing is going to be like in front of him. And it is. And Wendy and all of the kids are there, and she whistles that thing, and sort of like Yondu with his arrow, she's whistling, making it go different places, and it knocks Boy Cavalier down and attacks his troops and massacres the troops. And then she captures everybody. She captures Kirsch, she captures Morrow, Boy Cavalier, Dame, all of them, and put them in a cage that she was in. She puts them all in a cage, and they're like, Jane, because they're using their real names now. Jane is like, so what do we do now? And she's like, we rule. That's not a plan, man. They're supposed to be robotic. They're supposed to have supercomputers inside their heads. And that's a plan. But Utani is on the way there with a bunch of troops. And I'm thinking that is the reason. I think a lot of her people's going to die. But I'm thinking that's the reason nobody's going to find out about it. Utani is coming. And she's upset. Well, she's sending troops. I don't know if she personally is in one of the ships. That would be stupid. You know, if they was like, oh, there's a bunch of monsters. What do you want to do, boss? I'd say, send the troops. You don't want to go? Nah, just keep your comms open. Let me hear what happens. But nah, I'm not going. But let me tell you this. If you guys lose, I'm going to blow that island up. Why would I go? I'm the boss. I'll make the money. I'll make the decisions. I'm not going there. But I'm hoping she wasn't. It kind of looked like she was on one of those ships. I'm hoping she's not, because there's no reason for her to do that. Especially in the future, they got the technology. I mean, today we could use the cell phones or tablets and just show her what's going on. They got to have something similar to that. And so they're going there, man. And I think Wayland Yutani, is going to finger across the throat that island, man, and probably destroy the xenomorph. She's got to. They've got to destroy all of those creatures, or else they have to explain why they weren't in any of the future projects. But I liked it. Alien Earth, Season 1, Episode 8, actually the entire season. I would give Alien Earth, the entire season, 9 bags of popcorn. 9 bags of popcorn. Because that's what I think about that. More importantly, what do you think about that? Now that we had a chance to talk in the video, let's talk some more in the comments. And as always, if you like the video, if you like the content, subscribe. And then like.